Tai Wu Park walked slowly through the long hallway of the galactic shelter. The lights above him buzzed and flickered. He had not planned to come here today. His boss had sent him to fix the shelter's broken heating system, nothing more. Just a quick job. His boss had said, 2 hours, tops, but the heating system had taken 4 hours to fix. And now Tai Wu was taking a wrong turn on his way out. He found himself in a section marked Special Cases, Authorized Personnel Only. He should have turned back, but something pulled him forward. The room he entered was large and cold. Blue force fields glowed along the walls, each one holding a different creature. Some paced back and forth. Others slept or ate. Tai Wu had seen aliens before Earth had been part of the Galactic Union for 20 years now, but he had never seen so many strange beings in one place. "You shouldn't be here," said a voice behind him. Tai Wu turned to see a woman in a white uniform. Her name tag read Director Du Yun. "I'm sorry," Tai Wu said. "I was fixing the heating system and got lost." Director Du Yun looked at him with narrow eyes. "The exit is that way." She pointed back the way he had come. Tai Wu nodded and turned to leave. But then he saw it. In the last force field cage, something moved. Something big. "What is that?" he asked, walking closer. "That is none of your concern," said Director Du Yun. But Tai Wu was already standing in front of the cage. Inside was a dragon. Not the kind from Earth Stories, but something both more and less. It was about the size of a small car, with 6 limbs instead of 4. Its scales were a dull gray color, but in places, Tai Wu could see hints of blue underneath, like the sky trying to break through clouds. One of its front legs was not flesh but metal, a crude replacement. Its wings were torn and folded tight against its body. But it was the dragon's eyes that caught Tai Wu's attention. They were large and dark, with tiny points of light in them, like stars. And they were the saddest eyes Tai Wu had ever seen. "What happened to it?" Tai Wu asked quietly. Director Du Yun sighed. She walked up beside him. It's a female. She's a star dragon, Draconis stellaris. Smugglers had her. They were caught trying to sell her on the black market." Star dragon? Tai Wu had never heard of such a creature. "They're nearly extinct now," explained Du Yun. "They used to fly between stars, feeding on solar energy. This one was captured as a juvenile. The smugglers used neural blockers to keep her docile. They damaged her wings so she couldn't escape. The metal leg is from where they took samples of her tissue." Tai Wu felt sick. "That's horrible." "Yes," agreed Du Yun. "We've had her for 3 months now. The physical wounds are healing." But she trailed off. "But what?" "Her spirit is broken. Star dragons are highly intelligent. They communicate telepathically with their kind. Being alone, being hurt like this, it's destroyed something inside her." The dragon lay still, her eyes half closed. She didn't seem to notice or care that they were talking about her. "Will she get better?" Tai Wu asked. Du Yun shook her head. "Unlikely. We've tried everything. No one wants to adopt her. Most people who can afford the special permits for a dragon want one that's impressive, powerful, not broken." Tai Wu placed his hand against the force field. It hummed under his palm, warm and slightly tingly. "What will happen to her? If no one adopts her in the next month, we'll have to make a hard choice. We don't have the resources to keep her indefinitely." The dragon suddenly lifted her head, her star-filled eyes fixed on Tai Wu. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Tai Wu felt something, a touch so light it was like a breath against his mind. Help. The word wasn't spoken. It wasn't even a word, really. More like a feeling that translated itself into meaning inside his head. "Did you hear that?" Tai Wu asked, startled. "Hear what?" Du Yun looked confused. "She spoke to me. In my head." Du Yun's eyes widened. "That's impossible. She hasn't communicated with anyone since she arrived." The neural damage was too severe. Tai Wu kept his eyes on the dragon. "What's her name?" "She doesn't have one. At least, not one we can pronounce." The dragon was still looking at Tai Wu. There was something different in her eyes now, a tiny spark, where before there had been only emptiness. "How much?" Tai Wu asked suddenly. "Excuse me? How much to adopt her?" Du Yun laughed, then stopped when she saw he was serious. "You can't be serious. Do you have any idea what's involved in caring for a star dragon? The permits alone cost thousands. Then there's the special diet, the space requirements, the how much. Tai Wu repeated. Du Yun studied him for a long moment. The adoption fee is 5,000 credits. The permits are another 3,000. You'd need special equipment and anti-gravity harness until her wings heal, a heating system, nutrient supplements. All told, you're looking at 15,000 credits minimum. Tai Wu winced. That was almost all his savings. He lived in a small apartment near the spaceport where he worked as a maintenance technician. It barely had room for him, let alone a dragon. But the dragon was still watching him. That small spark growing brighter in her eyes. Please. The feeling word was stronger this time. I'll do it, Tai Wu said. Mr. Park, this is not a decision to make lightly. Your apartment, I'll make it work, he insisted. She needs help. I can help her. Du Yun looked from Tai Wu to the dragon and back again. There's something happening here I don't understand, she said slowly. But I've worked with rescued aliens for 15 years. Sometimes connections form that defy explanation. She took a deep breath. Come to my office. We'll start the paperwork. As they turned to leave, Tai Wu looked back at the dragon. For the first time, she had moved closer to the force field, her nose almost touching it from her side. Thank you. You're welcome, Tai Wu whispered. I'm going to call you Hey. It means sun in my language. The dragon blinked, and Tai Wu could have sworn that the dull gray scales on her face shimmered briefly blue, like the sky on a clear day. 3 days later, Tai Wu stood outside his apartment door, key card in hand. He took a deep breath. His bank account was nearly empty. The adoption papers were signed. There was no going back now. Are you ready? He asked, looking over his shoulder. Behind him, floating a few inches off the ground, was Hay. The anti-gravity harness wrapped around her middle section, holding her up since her wings and legs were still too weak to support her weight. The metal straps looked uncomfortable against her dull gray scales, but the shelter staff had assured him it was the best option for now. His star-filled eyes blinked slowly. She didn't respond with words, but Tai Wu felt a light touch against his mind, a feeling of nervous agreement. He swiped his key card and the door slid open with a soft hiss. Welcome home, he said, stepping inside. His apartment was small, just one main room with a tiny kitchen area, a bathroom, and a sleeping alcove. He had spent the last 3 days rearranging everything to make space for Hay. His couch was now pushed against one wall. His table was folded up and stored away. In the center of the room was a large, round platform covered with soft blankets. That's for you, Tai Wu explained, pointing to the platform. The lady at the shelter said you need a warm place to rest. Hay drifted into the apartment, her eyes moving from wall to wall, taking everything in. The anti-gravity harness hummed softly as she moved. She floated to the platform and hovered above it, uncertain. It's okay, Tai Wu said. You can lie down. Slowly, Hay lowered herself onto the platform. The harness adjusted automatically, powering down as she settled. She curled her 6 limbs under her body, her damaged wings tucked tight against her back. She looked small and afraid. Tai Wu moved to the kitchen area. Are you hungry? They gave me this special food for you. He held up a container of glowing blue gel. It has star nutrients in it, whatever that means. Hay watched him, but made no move toward the food. Okay, maybe later. Tai Wu put the container down. He wasn't sure what to do next. The shelter had given him instructions, but nothing had prepared him for the reality of having a dragon in his home. A soft knock came at the door. Tai Wu opened it to find his neighbor, Mrs. Kim, standing there with a concerned look on her face. Tai Wu, is everything okay? I heard strange noises, and her words stopped as she looked past him and saw Hay. Her eyes went wide. Is that a dragon? Yes, Tai Wu stepped aside so she could see better. Her name is Hay. I adopted her from the galactic shelter. Mrs. Kim was an older woman who had always been kind to Tai Wu. She brought him food sometimes and asked about his day. Now she looked from Tai Wu to Hay and back again, her mouth open in surprise. May I come in? She asked finally. Tai Wu nodded and stepped back. Mrs. Kim entered slowly, her eyes never leaving Hay. I've never seen a real dragon before, she said quietly. Only in pictures. She's a star dragon, Tai Wu explained. She's been hurt, but she's getting better. Mrs. Kim moved closer to Hay, who watched her with wary eyes. Poor thing, Mrs. Kim said. She looked so sad. She was with smugglers before the shelter found her. They did bad things to her. Mrs. Kim made a soft, angry sound. People can be so cruel. She knelt down near his platform, keeping a respectful distance. Hello, Hay. I'm Mrs. Kim. I live next door. To Taiwu's surprise, Hay lifted her head slightly. A faint blue glow appeared on her scales, just for a moment, before fading back to gray. Mrs. Kim smiled. I think she understands. She does, Taiwu said. She's very smart. She can even talk, sort of. In my head, Mrs. Kim didn't look as surprised as Taiwu expected. The universe is full of wonders, she said simply. She stood up and turned to Taiwu. Do you have everything you need for her? Taiwu thought about his nearly empty bank account and the list of supplies. The shelter had recommended. Not everything, but enough for now. Mrs. Kim nodded. I'll bring some extra blankets. It gets cold in these apartments at night. After she left, Taiwu sat down on the floor near his platform. That was Mrs. Kim. She's nice. His eyes blinked slowly. Taiwu felt that light touch against his mind again, but no clear words came through. Are you tired? He asked. It's been a big day, in response. Hay laid her head down on her front legs and closed her eyes. Taiwu watched as her breathing slowed. Even in sleep, she looked tense, as if ready to flee at any moment. Taiwu got up quietly and went to the small window of his apartment. Outside, the lights of the spaceport glowed in the distance. Ships were taking off and landing, heading to stars far away. He thought about what Director Du Yun had told him that star dragons used to fly between stars. Free and powerful. Now Hay was here, in his tiny apartment, broken and afraid. I don't know if I can fix you, he whispered, looking back at her sleeping form. But I promise I'll try. That night, Taiwu woke to a strange sound. He sat up in his bed, confused for a moment. Then he remembered Hay. He got up quickly and went to the main room. Hay was still on her platform, but she was making a soft keening noise. Her legs twitched and her wings trembled. Her eyes were closed tight. Hey, Taiwu said softly. Are you okay? She didn't wake up. Taiwu realized she was having a bad dream. Without thinking, he sat down beside her platform and gently placed his hand on her side. Her scales were cool to the touch. It's okay, he said. You're safe now. Slowly, his trembling stopped. The keening noise faded away. Taiwu kept his hand on her side, feeling her breathe. He didn't move back to his bed. Instead, he leaned against the wall next to her platform and closed his eyes. Just before he fell asleep, he felt something new, a warm feeling in his mind, like a small flame in a dark room. It wasn't words, exactly, but he understood its meaning all the same. Gratitude, trust, the beginnings of hope. Good night, Hay, Taiwu whispered. Tomorrow will be better. Outside the window, a star fell across the sky, leaving a trail of light that faded slowly into the darkness. 1 month passed. Taiwu and Hay settled into a routine. Each morning, Taiwu would wake up early to prepare his nutrient gel before leaving for work at the spaceport. He would adjust her anti-gravity harness so she could move around the apartment while he was gone. Mrs. Kim would check on Hay during her lunch break, making sure the dragon was comfortable. Slowly, Hay began to change. Her dull gray scales started showing more flashes of blue. Her movements became smoother. The wounds on her wings began to heal, the torn membranes growing back bit by bit. Most importantly, her mind voice grew stronger. What had started as faint feelings and single words became clearer thoughts. Sun today, she said one morning as light streamed through the apartment window. Taiwu nearly dropped his cup. It was the first complete thought she had shared. Yes, the sun is out today, he replied, smiling. Hay moved to the window, her anti-gravity harness humming softly. She pressed her nose against the glass, looking at the sky. Miss flying, came her thought. Tinged with sadness. Taiwu put down his cup and joined her at the window. Your wings are getting better. Maybe soon you can try. Hay turned her star-filled eyes to him. Promise? Promise, he said. That day at work, Taiwu couldn't stop thinking about Hay. He worked on the engines of a cargo ship, fixing the cooling systems. His hands moved automatically, doing the job he had done hundreds of times before. But his mind was elsewhere. Park, pay attention. His boss, Jiho, was standing behind him, frowning. You almost connected the wrong line. What's wrong with you lately? Sorry, sir, Taiwu said, quickly fixing his mistake. I was distracted. Jiho crossed his arms. This is the third time this week. One more mistake like that, and you'll be looking for a new job. Taiwu nodded, his face hot with shame. He needed this job. The cost of caring for Hei was more than he had expected. The special food, the medical checks, the equipment, it all added up quickly. When he got home that evening, he found Hei floating near the ceiling. Her harness was set to maximum lift, allowing her to hover in the highest part of the room. Her wings were partially extended, trembling with effort. Hey, what are you doing? Taiwu asked, alarmed. Practicing, came her reply. Wings getting stronger. Taiwu watched as she struggled to keep her wings open. After a few seconds, they folded back against her body, and she lowered herself down with the harness. Not strong enough yet, she said. Disappointment clear in her mind voice. You'll be, Taiwu assured her. Just give it time. He sat down on the floor, his back against the wall. The day's stress weighed on him. He sensed his mood and floated over to him, settling beside him. Bad day? She asked. Just tired, Taiwu said. Work is hard sometimes. Hei was quiet for a moment. Then, what work you do? Taiwu had never really explained his job to her. I fix ships, the big ones that fly to other planets and stars. His eyes widened, the tiny lights in them seeming to brighten. You fix star travelers? Yes, I guess that's one way to put it. I know star travelers, Hei said. Before bad people took me, I flew with star travelers. Saw them inside and outside. Taiwu looked at her with surprise. You mean you've seen inside spaceships? Yes, star dragons see energy, see through metal, see broken parts. An idea began to form in Taiwu's mind. Hey, can you still see that way? Can you see what's broken in a ship? Hei tilted her head, considering. Maybe, not tried since bad people. The next day was Taiwu's day off. Instead of staying home as usual, he dressed in his work clothes. We're going out today, he told Hei as he adjusted her harness. Out? Her mind voice was nervous but excited. To the spaceport. I want to show you something. Getting Hei to the spaceport wasn't easy. Taiwu had to register a temporary permit for bringing a Class A Xenofauna into a restricted area. He had to promise that Hei would stay in her harness at all times. But finally, they were walking through the massive hangar where ships were repaired. Workers stopped to stare as Taiwu walked by with a dragon floating beside him. Some looked afraid. Others were curious. Hei stayed close to Taiwu, her eyes darting around at the unfamiliar surroundings. Park, what is the meaning of this? Jiho appeared in front of them, his face red with anger. You can't bring that creature in here. Sir, I have a permit, Taiwu said quickly, showing the document on his community. And I think Hei can help us. Help us? It's a dragon, not a mechanic. Please, just give her a chance. Remember the problem with the stellar wind? The engine issue no one can find. Jiho frowned. The stellar wind was a passenger ship that had been in the hangar for 2 weeks. Its engines kept failing, but none of the diagnostic tools could find the cause. What about it? Jiho asked. Hei can see energy patterns. She might be able to spot what our tools can't. Jiho looked skeptical, but after a moment he sighed. Fine, 5 minutes. Then you and your pet are out of here. They walked to the stellar wind. The ship was huge, its sleek hull gleaming under the hangar lights. Engineers and mechanics were crawling over it, running tests and checking systems. Hey, Taiwu said quietly, can you look at the ship? Can you see what's wrong with it? Hei floated forward, her eyes fixed on the ship. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, her scales began to glow blue, brighter than Taiwu had ever seen before. The lights spread from her head down to her tail, until she was shining like a small sun in the hangar. Workers stopped what they were doing to watch. Even Jiho was silent, his mouth slightly open. There, his mind voice was strong and clear. She moved to a specific part of the ship's hull and pressed her front claw against it. Broken here. Energy leaking. One of the senior engineers rushed over with a scanner. He ran it over the area Hei had indicated. His eyes widened. She's right, he said, looking up at Ji-ho. There's a microfracture in the quantum containment field. It's too small for our standard scanners to detect, but it's causing the power fluctuations. Ji-ho looked from the engineer to Hei to Tai-Wu. His expression changed from disbelief to wonder. How did she? He began. I told you, Tai-Wu said, unable to keep the pride from his voice. She can see what we can't. Hei turned to Tai-Wu, her scales still glowing bright blue. For the first time since he had met her, she looked truly alive. Helped, she said simply. Like you helped me. Tai-Wu smiled and placed his hand gently on her head. Yes, you did. You helped a lot. That night, as they returned to their apartment, Tai-Wu noticed that his harness was barely working. She was almost flying on her own, her wings supporting most of her weight. You're getting stronger, he said. Hei looked at him, her star-filled eyes bright with a new purpose. We both are, she replied. 3 months after his first visit to the spaceport, everything had changed. Tai-Wu no longer worked as a regular maintenance technician. Now he had a new title, Special Diagnostics Consultant. What this really meant was that he and Hei were a team, moving from ship to ship, finding problems that no one else could see. His health had improved dramatically. Her scales now shone a bright, deep blue all the time. Her wings had healed completely, the torn membranes replaced by strong new tissue. She still used the anti-gravity harness sometimes, but mostly for carrying tools rather than supporting her weight. Most remarkably, her mind voice had become clear and strong. What had started as simple words and feelings had developed into complex thoughts and ideas. We have a new job today, Tai-Wu told her one morning as they prepared to leave for the spaceport. A research vessel just came in from the outer systems. They're reporting strange power fluctuations. Interesting. Hei replied, her star-filled eyes brightening with curiosity. What kind of research? Something about studying unusual space phenomena. The ship is called the Cosmic Explorer. When they arrived at the spaceport, they found the Cosmic Explorer waiting in the main hangar. It was smaller than the cargo ships they usually worked on, but its design was more complex. Its hull was covered with delicate sensors and specialized equipment. A woman in a white uniform approached them as they entered the hangar. She had short gray hair and sharp eyes that studied Hei with intense interest. You must be Tai-Wu Park, she said. And this is the famous Hei. I'm Dr. Jin, chief scientist of the Cosmic Explorer. Tai-Wu bowed slightly. Nice to meet you, Doctor. We heard you're having power problems. Dr. Jin nodded. Yes, but that's not the only reason I asked for you specifically. She looked at Hei again. Is it true that she's a star dragon? A Draconis stellaris? Yes. Hei answered before Tai-Wu could speak. I am Star Dragon. Dr. Jin's eyes widened. She clearly hadn't expected Hei to communicate directly with her. Fascinating. And you can understand our language? Learn from Tai-Wu. Learn from ships. Learn every day. Remarkable, Dr. Jin murmured. Well, I have something to show both of you. Please, follow me. She led them into the Cosmic Explorer. The inside of the research vessel was crowded with equipment and workstations. Screens displayed data and images that Tai-Wu couldn't understand. The ship's crew, a mix of humans and aliens, watched curiously as they passed. Dr. Jin brought them to a sealed door at the back of the ship. She pressed her hand to a scanner, and the door slid open. This is our main research lab, she explained as they entered. And this is what we've been studying. In the center of the room was a large containment field. Floating inside it was something that looked like a small star, a ball of glowing blue-white energy. About the size of Tai-Wu's fist, Hei froze. Her scales flashed so bright that Tai-Wu had to shield his eyes. Egg. Her mind voice was a shout of surprise and joy. Star Dragon Egg. Dr. Jin nodded. We found it near a dying star in the Cygnus sector. We didn't know what it was at first. Our instruments detected unusual energy patterns. It was only after we brought it aboard that we realized it might be biological in nature. Tai-Wu looked from the glowing egg to Hei and back again. You found a dragon egg? Are there more? No, Dr. Jin said. Just this one. It was alone, drifting in space. We think its parent might have been killed by poachers. The same kind of people who captured your friend. Hei moved closer to the containment field. her eyes fixed on the egg. Asterisk not healthy, asterisk she said after a moment. Asterisk energy fading. Needs help. Asterisk Dr. Jin's face grew serious. Yes, that's the problem. We've tried everything we can think of to stabilize it, but nothing works. The energy signature keeps getting weaker. That's why I asked for you. When I heard there was a star dragon working at the spaceport, I hoped. She didn't finish the sentence, but her meaning was clear. She hoped He could save the egg. He turned to Tai Wu, her mind voice urgent. Asterisk must help. Last of my kind maybe. Asterisk what can we do? Tai Wu asked Dr. Jin. That's what I'm asking you, she replied. Our science has reached its limits. We need his knowledge now. He circled the containment field, studying the egg from all angles. Asterisk needs star energy. Egg too far from stars to long. Asterisk we've tried simulated stellar radiation, Dr. Jin said. It didn't work. Asterisk not same, asterisk He explained. Asterisk need real star touch, or asterisk she paused, seeming to consider something. Then she looked at Tai Wu. Asterisk I can help. Can share my energy? But dangerous for me. Asterisk Tai Wu felt a chill run through him. What do you mean, dangerous? Asterisk star dragons store star energy in body, in scales, in blood. Can give to egg, but will make me weak again. Maybe very weak. Asterisk Tai Wu remembered how He had looked when he first saw her at the shelter doll. Lifeless, barely able to move. The thought of her returning to that state made his heart ache. There must be another way, he said. Dr. Jin looked thoughtful. What if we took the egg to a star? Our ship is designed for close solar observation. He shook her head. Asterisk too late. Egg too weak for travel. Need help now. Asterisk she moved closer to the containment field. Asterisk lower field. Asterisk she told Dr. Jin. Are you sure? Dr. Jin asked. Asterisk yes. Must try. Asterisk Dr. Jin hesitated, then nodded. She went to a control panel and adjusted some settings. The blue glow of the containment field dimmed and then disappeared. The egg floated freely now. Its light pulsing weakly. He moved forward until she was right next to it. Then, to Tai Wu's amazement, she opened her mouth and breathed out a stream of blue fire, not regular fire, but something that looked like a piece of a star. The fire surrounded the egg, enveloping it in light. His scales began to dim, the bright blue fading to a paler shade. She continued breathing the star fire, even as her own light diminished. Hey, stop. Tai Wu cried out, stepping forward. You're hurting yourself. Asterisk must continue. Asterisk He insisted, her mind voice growing fainter. Asterisk almost done. Asterisk the egg's glow was getting stronger now, its pulses more regular. But He was fading, her once bright scales turning dull gray again. Her wings drooped, and she sank toward the floor. Just when Tai Wu thought he would have to pull her away, He stopped. The last of her star fire flowed into the egg, which now shone with a steady, healthy light. He collapsed to the floor, her energy spent. Tai Wu rushed to her side, kneeling beside her. Hey, can you hear me? Her eyes opened slowly, the stars in them dim but still visible. Asterisk did it work? Asterisk her mind voice whispered. They all looked at the egg. It was glowing brightly now, spinning gently in the air. As they watched, it pulsed with light, then settled into a steady shine. Dr. Jin checked her instruments. The energy readings are stabilizing. I think it's going to survive. A weak feeling of joy touched Tai Wu's mind. Asterisk good, asterisk He said. Asterisk worth it. Asterisk then her eyes closed, and she went still. Hey, wake up. Tai Wu's voice shook as he knelt beside the fallen dragon. Her scales had turned a dull gray again, just like when he first saw her at the shelter. Her breathing was shallow and slow. Dr. Jin rushed to them, medical scanner in hand. She ran it over his still form, her face tight with worry. She's alive, but her energy levels are critically low, Dr. Jin said. She gave too much to the egg. What can we do? Tai Wu asked, his hands gently stroking his head. Dr. Jin looked at her scanner, then at the brightly glowing egg floating nearby. I have an idea, but it's risky. We need to get her to the ship's energy core, together. They carefully lifted He onto a floating stretcher. Her body felt lighter than before, as if something essential had drained away. The egg followed them, drifting through the air on its own power. pulsing with the energy He had given it. They moved quickly through the ship until they reached a sealed door marked Danger, Core Access. Dr. Jin pressed her hand to the scanner, and the door slid open. Inside was a room filled with blue light. At its center floated a sphere of swirling energy, the ship's power core. "This is a miniature star core," Dr. Jin explained. "It's how our research vessel can travel so close to stars without burning up. It's a contained piece of stellar matter." Taiwu understood immediately. "Like what star dragons feed on, exactly. But we've never tried to expose a living being to it directly. The radiation could be harmful." Taiwu looked down at He. Her eyes were still closed, her once beautiful scales now lifeless. He remembered how she had looked flying through the spaceport, strong and proud. He couldn't lose her now. "We have to try," he said firmly. Dr. Jin nodded. She went to a control panel and began adjusting settings. "I'm going to lower the containment field just enough to let some energy out. You should step back." Taiwu shook his head. "I'm staying with her. It could hurt you." "I don't care." Dr. Jin looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. "Very well." She pressed a series of buttons. The humming in the room grew louder. The blue sphere at the center pulsed, and then a stream of energy flowed out from it, a controlled solar flare. The energy touched He first, washing over her gray scales. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, a faint blue glow began to appear on her body. Taiwu felt the heat of the energy on his skin. It was uncomfortable but not painful. He kept his hand on his head, willing her to wake up. "Come on, He," he whispered. "Come back to me." The egg, which had followed them into the room, began to pulse in rhythm with the core. Its light grew brighter, and then, to everyone's surprise, it moved closer to He. It touched her side and seemed to merge its glow with hers. Dr. Jin gasped. "It's sharing the energy back with her. The egg is helping her." The blue light spread faster now, covering his entire body. Her scales began to shine, not just with their old color, but with new pattern swirls and spots that looked like stars and galaxies. Suddenly, his eyes opened. The tiny stars within them blazed bright. She lifted her head, looking first at Taiwu, then at the egg beside her, and finally at the energy core. Star heart, her mind voice said, stronger than ever before. Home energy. She stood up, her movements fluid and powerful. Her wings extended fully, spanning the width of the room. The egg floated up with her, spinning faster now. "Hey!" Taiwu cried, joy filling his voice. "You're okay." "Better than okay," she replied. "Remember who I am now. Remember all." Dr. Jin was staring at her scanner, shaking her head in disbelief. "Her energy readings are off the charts. I've never seen anything like this." He turned to Taiwu, her eyes full of new knowledge. "Must tell you truth now. Star dragons not nearly extinct. Hidden. Hiding from those who would hurt us. Hidden where?" Taiwu asked. "Inside stars. Where humans cannot go. Where we are safe." Dr. Jin stepped forward. "Inside stars? That's impossible. Nothing could survive those temperatures." He made a sound that Taiwu realized was laughter the first time. He had heard her make any sound with her mouth instead of her mind. For humans, yes. For star dragons, stars are home. The egg pulsed brightly, and He turned her attention to it. "This little one needs to go home. Needs to be with others." Taiwu felt a sudden sadness. "You're leaving, aren't you?" He lowered her head until her eyes were level with his. "Must take egg to safety, but not leaving forever." "I don't understand." "You saved me, Taiwu. Gave me home when I had none. Believed in me when I could not believe in myself. That makes us family." Tears filled Taiwu's eyes. "But how can we stay together if you live inside stars?" "We'll find a way. Star dragons live long lives, can travel between stars faster than any ship. We'll come back." Dr. Jin had been listening quietly. Now she spoke up. "If what you're saying is true, this changes everything we know about stellar phenomena. There could be an entire civilization living inside stars that we never knew about." He turned to her. "Yes, and must stay secret. Some humans would try to capture us again, study us, hurt us." "I understand," Dr. Jin said. "But perhaps we could learn from each other, safely, respectfully." "Perhaps," He agreed. "But first, must take egg home." She looked around the room. her gaze settling on a large viewport that showed the space outside the ship. A distant star shone brightly. Need to go outside, she said. Dr. Jin hesitated. We'd have to open the airlock. You'd be exposed to vacuum. Vacuum not problem for Star Dragon, Hay assured her. Need space to fly properly. They moved to the ship's main airlock. Crew members gathered to watch, whispering among themselves at the sight of the glowing dragon and the floating egg. Taiwu stood beside Hay as Dr. Jin prepared the airlock. His heart felt both full and empty at the same time, happy that Hay was healed and strong again. Sad that she was leaving. Will I really see you again? He asked quietly. Hay pressed her head against his chest, a gesture of affection she had never shown before. Yes, promise, we'll come back for you. And when I do, she continued, her mind voice filled with excitement, we'll show you stars from inside. We'll take you places no human has ever seen. The airlock door opened. Beyond it was the second door that would open to space. Hay moved inside, the egg floating beside her. Wait, Taiwu said suddenly. He took off the small pendant he always wore, a simple stone on a cord, given to him by his grandmother. He placed it around his neck. So you remember, always remember, Hay replied. But we'll keep safe. The inner door closed. Through the viewport, Taiwu watched as the outer door opened to the blackness of space. Hay looked back once, her star-filled eyes meeting his. Then she spread her wings and flew out into the void, the egg following close behind. Instead of drifting away slowly as expected in zero gravity, Hay shot forward with incredible speed. Her body began to glow brighter and brighter until she looked like a small comet. The egg stayed with her, matching her pace. In seconds, they were just points of light among the stars. Then they were gone. Dr. Jin stood beside Taiwu at the viewport. Do you think she'll really come back? Taiwu touched the glass, his eyes still fixed on the spot where Hay had disappeared. Yes, he said with certainty. She promised. 6 months later, Taiwu was working late at the spaceport. He had been promoted again, now leading a team that specialized in difficult repairs. His experience with Hay had taught him to look beyond the obvious, to see patterns others missed. As he finished his work and stepped outside into the night air, he noticed something strange. The stars above seemed brighter than usual. One in particular was shining with a blue light that reminded him of his scales. As he watched, the blue star seemed to grow larger. It was moving, coming closer. His heart began to race. A point of light separated from the star and streaked across the sky toward him. It moved with purpose, with intelligence. With joy, Taiwu smiled and opened his arms wide. Welcome back, he whispered to the approaching light. Welcome home.